Good morning. Did you notice we heard the exact words this morning from yesterday's reading? Yesterday, Herod echoed what some of the world was saying about Jesus. John has been raised from the dead. Others were saying Elijah has appeared. Still others, one of the ancient prophets, has arisen. However, through the grace of God, the apostles understood who Jesus indeed is. Peter, speaking on behalf of all Jesus' disciples, spoke clearly that you are Christ of God, Christos in Greek meaning the anointed one, the Word made flesh. Through our baptism and prayer, by the grace of God, we have the mystery of Jesus being true God and true man planted in our hearts. And through prayer, the understanding of this mystery takes deeper roots. Furthermore, as these roots deepen, we hear Jesus' voice, the Son of Man must suffer greatly. Through this suffering, we become closer to Jesus in our hearts. During the canonization Mass for Padre Pio, St. John Paul II said, "The life and mission of Padre Pio proves that difficulties and sorrows, if accepted out of love, are transformed into a privileged way of holiness, which opens onto the horizon of the greater good, known only to the Lord." The life of St. Padre Pio reminds us of the redemptive possibilities found in our suffering if it is united to Christ. One of Padre Pio's quotes, "The life of a Christian is nothing but a perpetual struggle against self. There is no flowering of the soul to the beauty of its perfection except at the price of pain." Just as a loving mother and father must discipline their children to be genuinely caring and prevent them from growing up to be unhappy and undisciplined, so must we learn to discipline ourselves to have a healthy sense of self-love. The secular gospel of self-care misses this point. While we must not be overly severe with ourselves, we must also not be afraid to challenge ourselves. We must also be deeply aware of the traps we lay for ourselves so as not to fall into them. We must know our faults, weaknesses, and excuses and fight back against them all. The most quoted saying of Padre Pio is, "Pray, hope, and don't worry. Worry is useless. God is merciful and will hear your prayer." This quote almost sounds like a song, and at first glance does not seem to fit a man focused on the cross of Jesus, as Padre Pio is. However, the reality is that a heart united to the cross is united in hope and prayer, and therefore has an interior calm and trust in God. The one who truly conquers self is the one who loves himself and is at peace. To quote Padre Pio once more, love is what sustains me. Here is the simple key to it all, the not-so-secret sauce of life. As Jesus himself tells us, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbors as yourself. On these commandments depends all the law and the prophets." As the world encourages us to flee suffering and seek comfort, we must remember to conform more closely to the heart of Jesus on the cross through suffering. With this more profound and rich understanding in our hearts, we can scream even louder, "Jesus, I trust in you."